What if a single storm could change the face of a nation forever? Imagine a tempest so powerful, it leaves an indelible mark on the American landscape and its people. This was Hurricane Katrina, a storm born in the warm waters of the Bahamas in late August of 2005. Katrina embarked on a path of destruction across the United States, a path that would bring it to the shores of Louisiana and Mississippi. This was no ordinary storm. With wind speeds reaching a staggering 175 miles per hour, it was classified as a Category 5 hurricane, the highest possible rating. The magnitude of Katrina was unparalleled, its trajectory unpredictable. As this monstrous storm advanced, it left behind a wake of devastation that would forever be etched in our memories. The numbers alone were staggering. Yet as with any disaster, the true impact extends far beyond mere statistics. As Katrina approached, little did we know the worst was yet to come. The financial aftermath of Katrina was nothing short of a fiscal nightmare. When the storm clouds of Katrina receded, they left an economic storm in their wake. The cost of rebuilding after the hurricane was astronomical. The total damage was estimated to be around $125 billion, making it one of the costliest natural disasters in U.S. history. Now, let's break down the sources of funding for this massive rebuilding effort. The lion's share of the rebuilding cost was shouldered by the federal government. They put forward an estimated $75 billion in emergency relief funds, but that's not all. Insurance companies also played a significant role, paying out over $40 billion in claims. Private donations, while not as sizable as these other sources, were still significant, adding another $7 billion to the recovery fund. But the economic impact was not limited to these immediate costs. The ripple effects were felt far and wide, from local economies to the nation as a whole. Local economies in particular were hit hard. Businesses shut down, jobs were lost, and the tax base was eroded. On a national level, the effects were also significant. The U.S. economy, as a whole, slowed down in the months following Katrina. The hurricane disrupted oil production in the Gulf of Mexico, causing a spike in gas prices across the country. It also led to a rise in food prices due to damaged farmlands and disrupted supply chains. And then there was the cost of displacement. Hundreds of thousands of people were forced to leave their homes, with many never returning. This mass displacement led to a significant loss of income for these individuals, and a consequent decrease in consumer spending. The economic toll was immense, but nothing compares to the human cost. These figures and facts paint a vivid picture of the financial devastation left by Hurricane Katrina. But as we will see in the next segment, the human cost of this disaster was even more staggering. Behind every statistic there is a human story, a life forever changed by Katrina. When we talk about the devastation wrought by Hurricane Katrina, it's not just about the billions of dollars in damages or the miles of land laid to waste. It's about the people, the thousands of lives lost, the millions affected, each one a tale of endurance and heartbreak, resilience and tragedy. Consider the story of a mother who held on to her 2-year-old daughter as the floodwaters rose around them. Despite her desperate efforts, the current was too strong and the child was swept away. It's a story of loss, unimaginable to most, yet a reality for too many during Katrina. Or the tale of a young man who worked tirelessly to help his neighbors evacuate, only to return home and find his own family missing. His bravery in the face of disaster, his heartache in the aftermath, these are the human elements that statistics cannot capture. Then, there was the elderly couple who refused to leave their lifelong home, believing they could weather the storm. They were found weeks later, their arms wrapped around each other in a final act of love and defiance. Their story, a poignant reminder of the stubborn hope and fierce determination that marked so many of Katrina's victims. The harrowing accounts of survival are countless. A teenager clinging to a rooftop for 2 days before being rescued. A family of 5 huddled in their attic as the water levels rose, praying for a miracle. Each story is a testament to the human spirit, a tribute to resilience in the face of unimaginable adversity. Yet for every tale of survival there are stories of those who didn't make it. Over 1,000 lives lost, each one a devastating blow to families, communities and the nation. The elderly, the vulnerable, the forgotten, their lives cut short by a storm that showed no mercy. These stories, these lives, they are the true measure of Katrina's impact. They remind us of the human toll, the personal devastation that came in the wake of the storm. The human toll of Katrina was staggering, leaving a lasting imprint on the nation. Katrina's wrath was not confined to one place. It was a storm that knew no boundaries. As we delve into the geographical extent of Hurricane Katrina's impact, we realize that this was not just a storm, it was a relentless force that reshaped entire communities. The hurricane's path of destruction was vast and indiscriminate. It made landfall near Burris Triumph, Louisiana, but the storm's fury was felt far beyond. Katrina tore through the Gulf Coast, obliterating coastal cities and towns in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. But the storm didn't stop at the coast. Its impact rippled inland, causing significant damage in states like Georgia and Tennessee. New Orleans, a vibrant city known for its music and culture, bore the brunt of Katrina. The storm surge breached the levees, resulting in catastrophic flooding that swallowed 80% of the city. In Mississippi, the cities of Gulfport and Biloxi were reduced to rubble, their once bustling streets now a haunting testament of Katrina's fury. Even areas that were spared the full force of the hurricane felt its effects. The storm disrupted essential services like electricity and water supply, turning cities into islands of despair. It also caused significant ecological damage, with coastal wetlands eroded and wildlife habitats destroyed. Yet it was not just the physical destruction that marked Katrina's geographical impact. The storm dismantled communities, uprooting families and scattering them across the nation. It altered the demographic landscape as many who fled the storm's path were never able to return to their homes. Among the hardest hit were the most vulnerable, the elderly, the poor, and the marginalized communities. They bore the brunt of the storm's fury, their homes and livelihoods washed away in the deluge. The lower Ninth Ward in New Orleans, a predominantly African-American and low-income neighborhood, was one of the most devastated areas, a stark symbol of the storm's unequal impact. Katrina left scars across the landscape, but the spirit of resilience was about to shine. As we move forward, we will see how the survivors of this catastrophic storm, despite all odds, began to rebuild their lives and their communities one brick at a time. In the wake of destruction, the true strength of a community is tested. And tested they were, these communities, as they grappled with the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. The process of rising from the ruins was not just a physical endeavor, but a test of emotional and psychological resilience. Rebuilding efforts started almost immediately after the storm had passed. The local, regional, and national authorities, along with numerous nonprofit organizations, swung into action. They aimed to restore basic amenities first: clean water, electricity, and safe shelter. But the process was slow, painstakingly so. Homes had to be rebuilt, roads had to be repaved, and entire infrastructures had to be resurrected from the ruins. For some areas, recovery took months, for others, years. The city of New Orleans, one of the hardest hit, took nearly a decade to fully recover, a testament to the scale of devastation wrought by Katrina. The time it took to rebuild was not just a measure of the physical destruction, but also the socio-economic challenges that the hurricane had exacerbated. The rebuilding process was not without its trials. There were funding shortages, bureaucratic red tape, and debates over whether to rebuild in certain areas at all. But amidst these challenges, there were also lessons learned. Hurricane Katrina exposed the vulnerabilities in our disaster response systems and infrastructure. It prompted a nationwide conversation about climate change and how to better prepare for such events in the future. But perhaps the most poignant lesson was about the human spirit. Communities came together in the face of adversity, helping each other rebuild not just their homes but their lives. They demonstrated an unyielding resilience, a refusal to be defined by the disaster that had befallen them. Rebuilding was a testament to human resilience, a beacon of hope amidst the ruins. And so, as we remember Hurricane Katrina, let us not forget the strength and resilience shown by those who rose from its ruins. For in their story, we find a powerful reminder of the indomitable human spirit. The echoes of Katrina still resonate, a reminder of the storm's true impact. This cataclysmic event, born in the warm waters of the Atlantic, tore a path of devastation across the United States. It was not simply a hurricane, it was a financial maelstrom that drained billions from the economy. The human toll was heartbreaking, with lives lost and survivors left to navigate a world turned upside down. The geographical extent of the damage was vast, with communities far and wide feeling the sting of Katrina's wrath. Yet, in the midst of ruin, the spirit of resilience emerged. Communities banded together, rebuilding from the ground up, turning the tide on the storm's aftermath. These efforts, though monumental, continue to this day, reflecting the enduring impact of Katrina. Katrina left a legacy of destruction and resilience, a storm that changed a nation. Remember, sharing knowledge is power. Subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. Until next time.